TitleMatchNetwork.com.
When you went back to Vince, did Vince take it as you coming back to him that he's in control because you're coming? Yeah.
No, actually, he called me and asked me to come in for a meeting. We had to sit down and talk this and that. And I said, whatever, he wanted me to come and work with Diesel to try to help him get over it, which I did what I could. I don't know if it worked or not. But going back in there, of course, knowing that I had a little heat with WCW, he was able to fuck with me more. And when you have a family, you sort of have to eat a little shit once in a while. And I'm going to tell you, I was shoveled a lot of shit, and it was hard to swallow, but I had to do it. And to me, it was like, also, I could do it and not let them see it affect me, because it didn't affect me. But it was the stupid things that he would say or do that would affect me.
All right. You were with Shawn Michaels at the time you came back. You were Shawn's bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like going on the road with Shawn Michaels at the time?
I don't think it lasted a week, did it? I think I was his bodyguard 1 week, then I powerbombed him on the TV following WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Of course, we know I got the biggest reaction of the building that night.
Yeah.
So
the same night as the NCAA Final Four.
And we outdrew. Yeah. We had a better rating than they did.
He had a killer rating that night too. Yeah. Was that rushed? Because it seemed like it came out of the blue when you turned on him. It's like you were with him for a couple of weeks.
Well, see, that's the thing is they had it planned.
Yeah.
They knew what they were wanting to do. When I looked at it and when I thought about what the finish was, the match at WrestleMania, I should have been able to read that. And when they did, we went to TVs. They said we want to do that. To me, I didn't care either because I knew what was going to happen. I knew I was going to get the response, and he wasn't. And that's pretty much the way it's always been.
All right. At the time, it seemed like that was when, I guess, the so-called Kliq was coming more into control and more power. Did you have any problems with him?
No, because I'll tell you what. See, me and Kevin, first of all, he started the business. He rode with me a lot. We were pretty good friends. I knew Shawn a little bit, not like I knew Kevin. I knew Razor pretty good. The kid was a pretty good kid to me. But the thing is I know that element of jealousy was there. They knew that given a chance, I would walk right over him one night, because...
Which eventually happened.
Well, it always happens.
Yeah.
I mean, even that it didn't happen, it was still happening.
Yeah.
Every night. Yeah. Kevin would be booed and I would be cheered. I don't care where we were at. He never could get the reaction that they were dying to get.
Yeah.
And that's what goes to show today. That you cannot program the people like you could years ago. Because the wrestling fan is smarter now. And the thing about it is, what happens is the people get a feel, I think, by looking at someone and say, this guy really has credibility because of whatever reason. The way he looks, the way he acts, blah, 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 whatever. And you can't, you can try to give that to somebody, but it doesn't, you've got to be sort of born with it.
You think those guys in the Kliq, in your opinion, and knowing them and work with them, you think they take the business too seriously at times?
I don't think you could say they ever took the business seriously because I didn't see anything seriously or really great that they did.
Good point. Yeah.
So no, I don't think they took it seriously. I think it was comical a little bit of some things. Razor's funny. Kevin's one of the funny. Every time I talk to Kevin, the very first thing he says, he makes me laugh. He's like the funniest guy I know as far as natural funny shit. But no, even though I knew that was always there, and I was a little worried for them all the time. We never had a conflict.
Yeah. How did you wind up injuring your neck during that run?
Well, actually, where it happened earlier, months before. It was in Indianapolis, I think, or Chicago. It was in Indianapolis. It was in a cage match, and Kevin hit me from behind. And when he did, man, I heard a pop, and I went completely numb all the way down. I couldn't get up off the mat, and it just, I didn't know what it was. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and then I remember I was in Albany, and me and Bob Holly were working out, and I couldn't curl. My left arm wouldn't come up, and that really scared me. And then I tried something else, and it wouldn't go up. And then I knew something was wrong. And so then I went home and went to one of the head medical clinics in the country, and I had one of the top guys look at it. He said, "Man," he says, "you can never wrestle again." You know, and then he brought a second doctor in with second opinion. And I said, "Man, you guys, come on, what's the punchline?"
Yeah.
He said, "No," he says, "you're never going to wrestle again." So I called Vince, I called JJ, and said, "I'm through. I can't wrestle anymore." And went to, took some classes, went to California out there to Fresno, and got into agriculture, which I had a big background because I farmed for a long time before I ever got into wrestling. And that's where I had some knowledge at. So I wanted to get into chemical sales and got a real good job doing that. And I was doing that, man, for 6, 7, 8 months. And then one day I'd come home from work, and I usually work on Saturdays all the time. Because during the busy time of farming, Saturdays and Sundays was a good day to be out there with the farmer to help, see if he needed anything. And I came in on a Saturday, and my wife's cousin said, "Vince McMahon has been calling here since yesterday, every 5 minutes." And I said, "Really? I haven't heard from the guy in 8 months, whatever it was." And I said, "Well, if he calls, I'm not here." So this is funny. I picked up the phone to call one of my buddies, and the phone clicks. I clicked it over. It was Vince. He said, "Sid." Yeah, he goes, "Vince." I'm like, "Hey, Vince, man, I need a big favor from you." I said, "What?" He goes, "I need you to do a couple shots for me." I said, "Well, all right, when are they?" He said, "Well, they're tonight and tomorrow." So I got like 40 minutes to make the flight. I said, "Goodbye." Got my shit, got dressed in the car when they picked me up at the airport, wrestled Owen. Next night, wrestled Owen, I think, my baby boy. Went home, didn't hear any more from him for a couple of weeks. Same thing, came in on a Saturday, same thing. "Man, did you do just a couple of shots?" The same thing, I had to fly out real quick. But see, when I went back, I told him I didn't want to come back. That I did. I would come back, maybe do some part-time stuff. And Vince said, "No, I want you full-time." He said, "Things are different now." Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So you came back again. You replaced Ultimate Warrior in that 6-man match on the pay-per-view, and which is kind of ironic going back to the day. What were your expectations as far as at that point in your comeback?
Well, I think my very first night in that match almost says it all.
Big time.
Because first of all, I can't take credit for the whole house because there's a lot of people involved in that. There's a lot of great promotion done in that work. That was a new indoor attendance record for that building. And I think it's pretty obvious who name was being said the loudest.
The crowd reaction was amazing, considering that you hadn't been around for so long.
Exactly. I mean, the thing about that was it was like that every night, everywhere we went.
Right.
And it was, it was fun to see that.
Do you think at that point, at that time, Shawn Michaels was on top and he really had no threat as far as anybody coming up on him? Do you think he noticed the threat and yeah?
Oh, I mean, it is, and we know it's whatever it is to it. I mean, so it's not like football or basketball or baseball. But we know when someone is better than someone else, whatever. And the game of wrestling isn't about wrestling moves. It's all about, drawing money.
Yeah.
And I think when I came back, I think the houses came up. And I know when I was a champ, the houses were 4 times what they were when Shawn was a champ, because I was on the houses when Shawn was a champ. And so I think everybody pretty much knew that.
Yeah. It was amazing because it seemed like it was like the final. This was it. It was like when you finally broke out and became the star that everybody told you and everybody knew that you could be. And then Survivor Series came, and it was you and Shawn in the Garden. And I don't think anybody will ever forget the fact that Shawn got completely booed out of the place. Right. And at the time, he was the top babyface, which was, really...
Not only top babyface, but he's been fucking given every possible show in the fucking world.
Yeah.
Now, see, there's a big difference. When you get everything handed to you, in which I never got a push. I would run into a situation. The business is bring a guy in, you give him a chance to get over. I came in right away. My very first match was main event. I don't, that was my argument. Give me time too. Let me, go 6 months, as a, just killing people or whatever, people like Dusty and Ole did with me. And that's how I got over,
Right.
and it was like, it takes more than a week. It takes 6 months to a year. I don't care who you are. I mean, I'm lucky I could draw money a little bit right away, but if I would have been given really the chance, and in my opinion, if I was the babyface and we'd really built Vader up, I think we would have done more business than the company's ever seen in a long time.
Okay. Was management surprised about however you were at the Garden after?
Oh, I seen some of the agents crying. Honestly, man, I was fucking wanted to piss on them. But it's like, oh my gosh, they were so upset for Shawn, I guess, or something, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah. It was like he legitimately snapped at that point too, because he was going around the house shows and going off when he was getting booed, because it seemed like at that point he was getting booed more and more. Was there any resentment from him personally towards you?
He never showed me any. It was my face, and me and Shawn had a pretty good relationship as far as I look back on it. He was always courteous to me. I was always courteous to him. We respected each other. We helped each other out. If he was too tired to do a meet and greet, I'd do it for him. If I was too tired, he'd do it for me. Things like that. So I know there were some, phone calls behind my back.
Right.
But but that's always going to happen. And if you can't, get over that, then you shouldn't be in the business.
All right.